Welcome back to the Nearlymen podcast. I'm joined as always by John.
Hello, Ollie.
Welcome back to the studio.
Thank you for welcoming me back.
Thanks. Anyway, I won't go down that. We said at the end of the last episode that the team we would cover today is probably the biggest team in England that has not won a trophy in my lifetime. Sorry to rub that in, Marva, but welcome, Everton fan.
Welcome.
Thanks for that welcome. Yeah. Just remind me of my sadness.
So not to rub it in. As we said, we're not here to rub it in. We're here to celebrate football.
Celebrate it,
beyond trophies. That's the point.
Of course.
How are you? How's Everton this season? Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Like it's what I sort of expected, but in fact not even expected. It's what I hoped for. Mm-hmm. And I know that sounds like a low bar, but like
it's
doing well.
After the last 4 years, I don't think I had it in me to have another relegation battle.
Yeah.
So I was like, if we're anywhere near mid-table, let alone a bit above it,
cooking on gas right now.
I will take that.
Just got a big win against what team was it? Does anyone remember?
Mate, our annual loss away at Everton.
Yeah.
We are so cursed at that stadium. It's why at half time in that game we were 1-0 up, and I'd hope you admit we were all over.
Oh
you.
yeah.
We should have.
First half we were terrible.
Yeah, and all the Palace fans were getting carried away, and I was like, it's Everton away, guys. Come on,
we've been here
be
before.
realistic. This game is not over. And then it was annoying, but I like Everton. I could stomach that.
Thank you.
Did you go? Did you go to the game?
No, I was watching it. I was on
okay.
holiday.
I was going to say if you've been to the stadium, the new stadium.
No, but you just went, didn't you?
Yeah. I just went.
How was it?
It is amazing.
Yeah.
It is beautiful.
Does it like? Are you over the breakup of Goodison Park?
I think obviously it will take a while. Like I do think people are maybe expecting too much too quickly, and people are saying, "Oh, the soul of the stadium." But I think the soul of a stadium is created. It doesn't just exist, and like that you've got to remember Goodison was there for however many years. Like that's so many memories, and that's what gives you the soul of a stadium. Obviously, you have some stadiums where it is difficult to ever create a soul just because of like the infrastructure. But this isn't a stadium that can't do that. And I think we needed a moment like that Palace game to get us going, because like the limbs, the scenes, the noise, everyone was saying like it was just it felt special just to have a moment like that. So the more you get of that, then I think it starts coming back.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you get one once a season against Palace, that's guaranteed.
Yeah.
So
Have
they knocked down Goodison Park? Or the
no. So
the
the women are playing there, but it is like a reduced capacity stadium, so they're only selling like the kind of bottom seats basically. And then they're gonna over the years like refurbish it to make it more into a kind of also like academy pitch.
Nice.
And then kind of extend the work of Everton in the community there as well. So
that's
hopefully
really
nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And then over the years as well, they'll make the stadium itself like more modern but a smaller capacity essentially.
That's nice.
That's really good.
Because have you seen Highbury? I've never been, but it's like flats.
Yeah.
But it still looks like a football pitch.
It's actually quite cool.
I need to go. I want to see it.
From the outside, it is really cool.
Yeah.
But it's weird. But like Upton Park, they've like completely that's gone.
It's gone.
That's
Yeah.
just a relic of history now.
Yeah.
It's not. It was Goodison Park, the oldest stadium in the Prem.
It is. It's the oldest purpose built.
I think so. Yeah.
When I looked it up, my little research on Goodison Park. Yeah, I think
Prepping.
so.
I like that. I should have done that as well. Right, we start every podcast with the same question for our guests. What is your favourite football game that you have watched that ultimately meant nothing?
Right. Well, it meant nothing in terms of the season, but it meant everything to me.
Perfect.
Which is,
that's the brief.
That's it.
Which is, and I'll say it and you'll be like, why? We beat Watford 3-2 away. Okay?
Yeah.
You'd think
What
standard,
could
right?
possibly be different
The
about
context for it is that this run of games started when I was at uni, so I wasn't able to go to too many games. So this run of games spanned over quite a few years. But every single game I would go to for Everton, we would not win. We would lose, maybe a draw. We would not win. I went to 18 games. 18 games in a row. Obviously, like the actual matches themselves weren't in a row, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
It wasn't just 18
consecutive games.
Yeah. But
Home and away.
every game I went to in this 18-game run, we did not win. Then it gets to Watford away, and I'd been to Watford away a few times because, as you can tell from my accent, I am London-based. I'm not a Scouser, and like so we'd often go to like kind of London away games or like Brighton, Watford, those kind of games. I'd been to Watford a few times, and within about 20 minutes, we were 2-0 down, and I was like, "Great! Like this again. This is my 19th game now. Again, I'm not going to see us win." And then we randomly got it back to 2-2 because Yerry Mina scored 2 goals from a corner, like
Wow.
two separate corners.
Gunman.
So we're going at half time, it's 2-2, and I'm going, okay, we come back out and we're sort of on top, and I'm like, this could actually be it. Like, I could actually see us win. Delph then gets sent off, and I was like, right, again, like, this is I'm never going to see us win. Yeah, it got dubbed the Marva curse. So
yeah.
I'll go into that in a bit. But then, like 93rd minute, there's a breakaway. Richarlison goes running down. There's like space. Moise Keane, remember him?
Yeah.
He's in the box. He's sort of like, I think he miskicks it or something, but it ends up at Theo Walcott. He smashes it in top bins, and it was just pandemonium. Like 93rd minute winner, obviously it's always great.
Yeah.
But for me personally,
Relief.
Ends the Marva curse. It was special.
Everton have so many like vibes players. Don't they?
Oh,
like,
just when you were listing them,
those players, I'm like, oh yeah, oh you had Walcott, didn't you? I forgot about that. It's so good.
I don't know if Walcott counts as a vibes player. I'm not sure he
probably
was for us.
not. Yeah, but I just so many.
That is a funny list of like stars of that game. For Everton.
Like,
that's such like a random period.
It's such an Everton like for me.
Yeah.
That's just really like Everton at the moment. Well, at least going back maybe 5 years.
Who would have been manager at that point?
It was Ancelotti. Yeah, it was like
Ancelotti.
it was. I'm trying to think. It was because he sort of came in midway through one season. I can't remember if it was the end of that bit going into. No, it was like February. So no, it must have been
like a 1920 season-ish.
Yeah, I think it was over then. Yeah, because it was February just before COVID. February just before COVID.
No.
There we go. Yeah.
So that was before the title charge up to Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get into that.
Exactly.
We'll get into that. I remember watching Everton that season. I think you beat someone like 5-2 at home in the COVID season. Might have been like Brighton or someone. I was like, oh, shit, Everton.
Oh yeah,
they might win the league.
4-2, yeah.
That would have been the most nearly team thing ever to win the league in the COVID season when no fans could go to the game.
Well, that's what Liverpool did, and that's why we still laugh at that. And then they went and actually won it.
They undid that. Why Everton? You mentioned that you're not from Liverpool.
Yeah,
Everton.
it's just a family thing, really. Like I say, it's kind of like the worst attempt at glory hunting from my brother, because it was my older cousin, who's also like my brother. His dad's from Liverpool, supported Everton. That got passed down to my cousin, passed down to my brother, passed down to me. But my brother, so my dad's a Spurs fan, and we grew up in Tottenham, grew up in North London, and my brother was watching the '95 semi-final FA Cup, and it was Everton Spurs, and he was like 5 years old, and he was like, I don't know, he was still kind of choosing Everton won, and that kind of sealed the deal. He was already leaning towards Everton, but that sealed the deal. Everton went on to win the FA Cup, and we haven't won it since, and I wasn't yet born yet, so
it's
years.
Like that's what decided my fate.
And
it was because of FA Cup trophy, which we just haven't ever won.
That's the last trophy Everton won,
Yeah.
the '95 FA Cup. That is insane to think.
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard to say stuff like this and not sound like condescending, like you're rubbing it in. But like, Everton is such a big team, and they're also like a really good team in our lives. Like they've constantly been up there.
Yeah.
It's mad to think that like there's not even been a cup that's been delivered in that time.
I think Everton is still the 4th most successful team in England, right? Or the 4th most league titles, I think it is.
Yeah.
That's it. 4th most league, 9 league titles or something.
Yeah, we've got, I think,
We'll get that fact checked by Jacob.
Yeah.
But I think that such a big team
massive
going
team,
back.
Very likeable team. What's your like first? You missed the '95 FA Cup, unfortunately. What's your like first memory of Everton?
I'd say the one that stands out. Like I was calling myself an Everton fan early, and like I knew I was an Everton fan, but I think what really like pushed over the line for me was that Wayne Rooney goal against Arsenal, because like I said, I grew up in North London, and also back then you also didn't get many Spurs fans around North London, like they as in all the kids weren't supporting Spurs, even if their parents were. So everyone I went to school with, obviously it's like 2000s, are supporting Arsenal, and I remember that weekend I was like with my Arsenal supporting friends, and the news comes through that like this 16-year-old wonder kid has scored the winning goal against Arsenal, and I was just like, what? This team I say I support was actually like good. But I was like 6 or 7, and from there I just like I was in, and I was already starting to play football at that age as well. I was just starting to really get into it, but he was like, my proper ticket in, asked for an Everton shirt, like then it was
sick.
from there.
So Rooney was the cause, really. Rooney cemented it.
I got to interview him as well.
Oh wow,
that was like
that's amazing.
This amazing moment. That was like I got to tell him that he was the reason.
Apparently he's lovely. Like
he
apparently
was
he's really
amazing.
really good. Yeah,
like so, and also just so like open and honest, but in like a very like endearing and funny way, which like I guess the difference between when you have to give post-match conferences as a manager and the constraints you're under there compared to when you're free from that and you can just talk openly is quite different.
Where does he sit in like Everton legend status? Because he kind of like fell out a bit, didn't he, when he moved to United?
It is a difficult one, I think. Even if he'd stayed another year or so, he'd be much further up there. And then the circumstances in which he left, and then just like games afterwards where, you know, and
like
kind
he kissed the badge, didn't
he? Things like
Goodison,
that, like shushing the crowd and stuff like that didn't help. Obviously, him coming back did help. I think like the fact that he came back means that he can now sort of come back to he was there at the last day at Goodison and he got booed a bit, but it was like all kind of in jest. Whereas I think if he hadn't had that second stint, it would probably still be a bit like toxic.
He's still the best talent I think that we've ever seen for his age.
Really?
I
guess for
his age. Like 16 scoring that goal against Arsenal. I mean, like, who does that?
I know. I remember him scoring
against that Arsenal team as well. That powerful,
and
league-winning.
Even just like his physicality at that age.
Yeah.
In fact, funnily enough, actually, probably my proper first memory of Everton is, like I said, my dad's a Spurs fan, and we grew up around Tottenham. He took us to a FA Cup youth game. I think it must have been the season before that. Because I was like 6, and we went, and there was this kid who scored 2 goals, one an absolute wonder goal, and Everton won 2-1, and it was Wayne Rooney.
Really?
And it was only until afterwards we were like, oh, that was Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
And then I've seen things where David Moyes said he was there at that game and then came up to him at the end of that game and said, you're going to be playing for me next season.
Wow, that's a good I was there moment.
Yeah, that is great.
I watched Wayne Rooney in the Everton youth team. It's funny you say you had like one moment where you beat a big team that really cemented your supporting Everton, because I don't know if you had the same thing with Fulham. I had the same thing with Palace, where I was like a bit of a closet Liverpool fan when I was younger. I used to love Liverpool.
Didn't tell me that. I wouldn't have come
I wanted to be a London Red. Thank God my dad forced me to not. But when I was in that little era of my life, I went to watch Palace Liverpool with my dad, and we beat Liverpool 1-0 at Selhurst, and I was like, oh, Palace are actually better than Liverpool. Like, I was picking the wrong team all along, and that really like pushed me in that direction when it could have gone AWOL, mate.
Yeah.
Thank God it didn't happen.
Would have been a very different podcast, wouldn't it?
Couldn't
be the Nearlymen, I don't think.
As a Liverpool fan, oh mate, would have been a disaster. But that era of obviously Rooney and then the Moyes first spell. Obviously he's like the biggest. As we say, he's the biggest like modern Everton legend, David Moyes, as a definitely as a manager at least.
As a manager, yeah. I mean, obviously there was the Ancelotti. Year and a half
fever dream.
Basically 3 months. Not actually good. But no, he's it's almost like David Moyes is synonymous with the club, I think. And I think him coming back and doing what he's done has just shown that. I think like I did a sort of little video before he joined of just being like, for years we kept being linked with him, even whether times were good, when times were bad, and the kind of general feeling was like, not Moyes again, like come on, like this is depressing to be linked with him again. And I think because there was this feeling of even when obviously he left to go to Man United, but there was still a feeling amongst the fans of he's kind of taken us as far as we can go, and we were getting 6th, 7th, 5th pretty regularly. And it was like, we need someone to take us to that next level now. And so that's kind of what we went after. Then obviously that didn't happen. And we ended up in just, terrible situations. And so it kind of felt like, it's almost like admitting defeat to like have him back and be like, yeah, you know what, you're right, we couldn't do better. But I don't think it is just that. And what I was saying in this video was that it's almost like we're just a good fit for each other. Because I think when he was at Man United, a lot of the feedback was essentially he had too much budget almost. Like he works best when he's got a kind of constrained budget and he needs to find those like diamonds in the rough. And then with us, we had loads of budget once he left. We didn't know what to do with it. We needed someone that could actually like confine it a little bit and have a look. So it just felt like actually him coming back was, it's not that there aren't better managers out there. It's not that there are different clubs out there for him, but it just feels like it's actually a good fit.
Yeah. It's definitely a funny topic managers, like David Moyes, perfect for Everton, but then like there's definitely clubs and different levels. It's hard to like rank managers against each other. I think David Moyes is going to do a far better job at Everton than probably Pep Guardiola could do at Everton.
Yeah.
But it just fits. I from the outside, when I look at Moyes at Everton, it just works. For me.
Mate, I was actually
like
buzzing.
it. I just like it.
Yeah, when he came back, I was like, that's so great for him and for Everton. It just like worked perfectly. But that first period, like as you said, you were pushing Champions League every single season, basically. Yeah. So many cult heroes, like Prem cult heroes in that team. Who's like your favourite from that era of Everton? Like the Tim Cahill, Mikel Arteta era.
I mean, there's a few. Tim Cahill, Steven Pienaar, Fellaini. I think Fellaini stands out for me because I was so protective of him, of when he went to Man United and was sort of like, he would save them as well.
He did.
And he was still just getting like, abuse from fans and stuff. And I get it. Obviously, they have different standards to what we had. But I was like, he is a like phenomenal player. Like,
he was scapegoated like Harry. It's almost Harry Maguire-esque now. It's just like pick on one person to be the problem. It's not. Yeah.
And he's just such a like different player. And he was just class. And I just think that thing of Moyes choosing him to play this specific role, and it just had this nice sort of symmetry to it that I loved.
The David Moyes like number 10 battering ram is my favourite genre of player, because I loved Fellaini at Everton, and then he obviously had Souček at West Ham who was like doing something quite similar. It's just fun, and a player like Fellaini would actually contribute to any squad in the world. Do you know what I mean? Because he's such a unique player. It's like, oh mate, he was so much fun. But he went with Moyes to the set. Did he go the same summer or the season after?
I think it was the same summer, because it was him and Baines were both rumoured, and it was like I remember we were like really happy about it, because they were saying like 60 mil for both of them, and then I think they paid 60 mil just for Fellaini or something. So we were like, we'll take it.
But obviously, that period of Moyes ultimately didn't result in a trophy. FA Cup final loss 2009. We might also say now that's your favourite Nearly team of all time, right? Did you go to the game?
No, I did not.
But so talk us through that run and then the final itself.
I think oh look, there's a lot of Nearlys for Everton. I could name a lot of different teams and different, because I think that was the only final we've been to in my lifetime.
Since 95,
That's crazy to think. I just can't wrap my head around
But we've had a few semi-finals. We've had a few, like even League Cup. There was one against City. We'll get into that one actually if we have time.
We always got time. We've got plenty of time.
There's one about just what Roberto Martinez didn't. In fact, let me do it now. So basically, Roberto Martinez, what a guy. Because that first season with us, actually one of my favourite seasons. I say it's like we still had the defensive know-how of a Moyes team, but then we had the Martinez like attack, and then once he started adding his players in for the defence, then it all went very badly. But that first season was amazing, and that's a Nearly team. Like in fact, it was you.
I know, I was there. I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, we could have got Champions League, and Palace have this terrible record of us, but the last time they won was this game. We like needed to win. We needed to beat Palace at home.
I think it was Everton's game in hand on like a Thursday night, and
at Goodison,
and that was one of the best atmospheres I've ever been in. It was rocking, and Palace won 3-2. And that got us to hit the 40-point mark, and it was the first time we stayed up in the Prem. So it was quite a significant win for us, one of my favourite ever away days. But it was a huge game for Everton.
Yeah,
and because we'd just beaten Arsenal 3-0, and they were who we were competing with for Champions League. That feels so Everton to me as well.
Yeah,
it's
like beat Arsenal,
team
lose
that
to
have
Palace.
this terrible curse against us, and obviously it's quite fun being another team's like bogey team. But it was like, that's the game, really? That's the one where
Cameron Jerome, Scott Dan bagged as well, mate. It was a class day. But I did feel for Everton, actually, at that point.
But no, that team was obviously great, and then it gets into second and third season with Martinez, and we were just conceding goals for fun. It was just like, the one that sticks out, we lost to like Stoke 4-3, and it's like all our games were like that, because we had Lukaku, who was just incredible. Like, I don't think we'll ever get a better striker than that, really. But we were just like conceding goals, and the Man City semi-final makes me laugh because it was League Cups. It was when it was two-legged. I think it was still away goals as well. So we'd beaten them at our place 1-0, and then we go away and we score first. So we're 2-0 up on aggregate, and because it's away goals, all we need to do is just not concede 3 goals.
And what did he do?
What happened? But also, I think their third goal was the ball went off the pitch, and then obviously no VAR. I don't think VAR even really intervenes with that anyway. But yeah, it was just like
it's pain.
It was like painful because it was like that decision still shouldn't have stood, but at the same time, why are we conceding 3 goals? You know, like it was just So we've had a few near misses. That semi-final against Man United, in was it
2016.
2016?
That was the year,
Yeah.
the year we lost to United in the FA Cup final.
Yeah. The dance.
Yeah, and that was God. I mean, that was a bad year for both of us. I think
it was a bad year, exactly. And like Lukaku missed like
a
penalty, and
Martial
it was, like,
right at the end.
Yeah, right at the end. And then also I was going back to uni, I remember, and I was on a train with a load of Man United fans, and I was like, this is just
a bad place to be.
This is just terrible.
That is bleak.
But no, the FA Cup final was the final I've seen in my lifetime. And yeah, it was just the like, it's a Moyes team, right? It's like it's and to score in the first minute, Louis Saha, fastest goal ever in the FA Cup final.
Love Louis Saha. Shout out.
And it was just like dreamland, you know. But I think that is a clear example of scoring too early.
Yeah, that is
it doesn't get more scoring too early than that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't think that one sticks out. It sticks out to me obviously because it's our only final. But I feel like some of those other ones are more like cruel in terms of like the game.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that game, like, I looked at the squad, and I think they brought on Michael Ballack and we brought on like Dan Gosling, and it's like it's kind of like,
fair enough,
like and their goal scorers were like Drogba and Lampard. You're going,
what can you do about that?
You know.
Well, that wouldn't have been Ancelotti managing Chelsea at that time, would it? It might have been around that era.
I
think it was Hiddink.
Yeah, might have been Hiddink. What other games? Not to go into just like a big Everton therapy session, but what other games stick out as ones where you said it hurts? More.
There was a Liverpool semi-final at Wembley as well.
Yeah.
And we were quite even at that point as well.
It was like Andy Carroll.
Yeah,
Liverpool
and
era.
like Yelovich had scored.
Yelovich,
and it was the one season he was really good.
Yeah.
Yelovich. That's a vibes player.
Yeah, that's a vibes player. And then I think it was Distan just like gave the ball away, and it was just it just felt so Everton.
Yeah.
To like do that against your rivals. In a game where it actually felt like you could actually get something. That one, and then that Man City semi-final, Man United semi-final. But I think also just a lot of those seasons where it just felt like all of these different things didn't line up. So like in the season where we could have got Champions League and Roberto Martinez, it's like then we played Arsenal in the FA Cup and got like battered 4-1, and we never win like away at Arsenal. So it's just all these like near misses where even in the seasons where we're like doing okay or like doing well, things aren't quite lining up.
When you said about nearly missing Champions League, what was the full context, if you know, of the 2005 where you finished 4th?
Yeah.
And Liverpool won the Champions League?
Yeah.
What happened? Why didn't Everton?
Then we got into the qualifying thing instead, and then that was a massive controversy because that was the game against is it Villarreal?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Was it Kalina's last game as a ref?
And it was a shocker. We just had a goal ruled out for nothing, and then so that's the only time we've made Champions League in my lifetime.
The only reason I know that about Kalina is because my old boss is an Evertonian, like proper Evertonian, and he would also just be in like the worst mood from like September to about April, and then Everton would stay up and he'd just be buzzing, and then football would come back and he'd just be like, oh. And he always spoke about that game being like, it was his last game as a ref, it was so corrupt, and he was like,
but it's also that's so Everton as well, in the sense that like everyone loves this ref. Like you can't really think of many refs that like have like a cult personality, and because he was on like FIFA.
He was on the cover of FIFA,
like,
and Pez.
Can you imagine that? Like,
a ref.
That wouldn't happen now. Would
Anthony
it?
Taylor on the cover of FIFA.
And so like everyone else, even now, you know, when you have those chats where it's like 2 a.m. in a kitchen, and everyone's like, "Oh, I remember Kalina," and everyone's like, "Oh, what a ref!" And you just
you're there in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. That one Everton fan in the corner.
Yeah. I remember Kalina.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
There's been so much pain for you guys, though. Honestly, that season with Martinez, I think you get above 70 points and not qualify for Euroviva.
Yeah.
How do you get above
like
70 points and not get Champions League?
Yeah. We've had a few like that. Also the Ancelotti season where we've ended up finishing like 10th after all of that, but like our points tally was still like a pretty good points tally.
Yeah. Can we go into detail on that Ancelotti season? I remember you guys top of the league at Christmas, right? I think so.
It was close to
or
that,
just before?
and then it was just before Christmas, and then there was a little dip, but then we like beat Liverpool at Anfield. Obviously, no fans there. And then we were back in the running for like Champions League, and then it all just went downhill.
I remember that. I think the opening game of that season, I think you played Spurs away and won.
Yeah.
And I remember really clearly watching it, and it was like Alan was playing holding midfield. Like was it Andre Gomez?
I think it might be Decore.
James Rodriguez, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin. And they just looked like so well oiled. And I was like, I think that was Mourinho's Spurs, and it was just they had like. I don't know if they'd got Bale at that point back, but he obviously would go back that season. Yeah. Spurs were a good team at that point.
What world were we living in where Mourinho was managing Spurs and Ancelotti was managing Everton? That's a weird
it's so weird.
Timeline.
Well, also that season also gave us 5-4 between those two managers, those two teams in the FA Cup. I don't know if you remember that game. That was like incredible.
Did Everton win that?
Yeah, we won that.
I don't remember that.
Is that the one where Ancelotti that you scored the winner?
It's the gif of him going like blowing the coffee.
Oh yeah.
And it was like the most like high intense. It was insane. It was like it went like 1-0 to Spurs, 2-1 to Everton, then it was like 3-3, then it was like 4, then it went to extra time and it was like 4-4, and then it was like was it Bernard?
Oh my god, Bernard!
I think it was Bernard scored.
Tiny winger.
Yeah, scored to make it 5-4, and it was just literally like, and it was during COVID. My dad's a Spurs fan. We're in the same house. I'm watching it upstairs. He's watching it downstairs, and you can just hear like different like.
So
we're just going like, and then the next time like, you're right.
Yeah.
Blowing the coffee, just like.
Yeah.
When you said about like. Sat in a kitchen at 2 a.m. naming random footballers. You could just do that with just Everton players.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
With so many names on the
So many. Yeah.
Gary Mina, Moyes, Keane, Bernard. All playing in the same team probably about the same time. So did Ancelotti leave before fans were back in the stadium?
Yes. So obviously we had half a season with him with fans before everything got shut down. And then he by the time he left in the summer, it was like I went to like the last game at Goodison of that season where they were letting like a few thousand fans in. But we've never seen James Rodriguez play at Goodison.
That's insane.
No fan has ever. We've never seen.
That is so
Everton
Everton.
For us.
Yeah.
Like even, do you know what? Even for me, I very luckily because of my work managed to go to a few games that season because I was reporting on a few games. I went to the so after that Spurs game, then it was Man City in the quarterfinals at Goodison, and I got to go and work on it and report, and it was obviously that's amazing. We lost 2-0, but James was injured for that, and then like got to the Wolves game at the end of the season, the one I just said about Goodison. James was injured, and it was like
it's not even any proof he really played for you. It could have been edited.
AI. Like, did he actually?
Did he exist?
And then Benitez comes in, and he hates James Rodriguez and just gets rid of him.
What was it like?
Benitez
why did you get Rafa Benitez in as your manager?
Horrible fit.
Ask Farhad Mashiri. Because I think what's so annoying about that, and this is another sliding doors moment, because honestly, like that appointment sent us into what we are now, which was 4 years of relegation battles. And it was annoying at the time because I felt like the media response to it was, oh, Everton fans aren't taking to him because he's like, his Liverpool history. And you're going, are you watching us play football?
We're rubbish.
If he was winning, like he won, I think like our first 3 games or something, or like we got a point at Man United away, won a good few games at the beginning of the season. Everyone was like, loving it, no problems with him. Then we didn't win in 11 games. That's like Liverpool history. But he just, the thing that honestly I say to this day, he got rid of James Rodriguez and Luca Digne, and he got rid of Luca Digne because they had a bust up in the changing rooms, I think it was, and then so he sold Digne to Villa, who at the time were kind of in and around the same positions as us, And then we sacked Benitez the next day.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember, yeah.
But if you look at the stats from the season before, like our biggest 2 chance creators and like assisters were Coutinho and James Rodriguez, and we got rid of them both.
I vividly remember that.
And
who lets the manager get rid of players and then sack him the next day?
And I just think like if we'd had those 2 players, I don't think we would have been in that relegation battle that season. Just because we weren't good, but they would just get you out of trouble. Yeah, get you out of trouble. They would just score, do something incredible. Create a great assist.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think that was our massive downfall. And then once you're in a relegation battle, it's so hard to find managers who are going to be like, oh, this is a project I want to take on. And
Super Frank Lampard
Super
got you out of trouble.
Yeah.
Palace and Everton's paths keep just kind of crossing in that. But that was that was the season where you beat us at Goodison. That was so I don't know. So we played Everton. I think it was your last home game. Well, our last away game, your last home game in the season. And Everton needed to win basically to stay up, I think. And we were 2-0 up at half time. And lost 3-2. And like it was absolute like it was like a great escape game.
God, it was amazing.
Were you there for that?
I wasn't. I was actually working, but cause I used to work in music, and I was side of stage with one of my artists, and like she was performing, and I was just like, no joke, going backstage into the green room and like getting a link up, watching it on like my hotspot from my phone. It was like cutting out. It was the most stressed I have ever been. It was horrible because we were playing Arsenal last game of the season, and if we won that Palace game, then we were like mathematically safe. But if we hadn't, even a draw wasn't really enough. And I remember watching it backstage, sort of, and Michael Keane scored. What a guy, by the way.
Yeah. What a finisher, Michael
what
Keane.
A finisher.
Yeah.
What a
Literally
finisher.
Incredible. He goes and scores, and you're going like, obviously I celebrated, but I was like, it's still not, it's just not enough. Like even if we draw this game, it's actually not enough. And then we equalise, and I'm going, oh my God. And then I remember I had to the show finishes, so I have to like leave the stream. And we score. I think our equaliser and our winner were not far apart from each other. So I leave. I'm not really looking at my phone, and I just like the like group chat from like the podcast I'm on. Just everyone's going Marva, and like, I go on Twitter, and it's like Everton, like do you see it? And I was like. And I was just there with the artist, and I was like, I think we scored. I think we scored again. I think we won. Soon we win, and then I'm just like on this massive high. I couldn't believe it.
There was like a pitch invasion when Calvert Lewin.
Yeah. I was going to say that's such an important. I mean, you said like Rafa sent you back like 4 years. That would have put you in the Championship.
Yeah. First time ever.
With the new stadium being built, I mean,
100%.
that it could have just been.
No, like, and that's what it's been so like draining and like stressful for the last few years, because you know what it's like if you get relegated and income wise, and we've had how many points deductions and like fines and like investigations, and then it's like building a new stadium, and it just felt like just stay up in these years, just stay up now, because then we can get it together financially. But it was a real like, you know, because it's one thing to worry about getting relegated, but it's another thing to worry about getting relegated and possibly like the end of your club. And it sounds like dramatic, but I don't think it was that dramatic to think that could happen.
Especially in that period of time, like the COVID years, like I feel like a lot of Prem clubs are just on a bit of a knife edge, weren't they? Especially if you've got a massive investment coming in. It's funny you said like when you scored the first goal to make it 2-1. You're like, oh, it's still not enough. As a Palace fan, I was like, Everton will win this game. I was like, there is no way in hell we are getting anything from this.
But it was also things, it's like we hadn't ever been 2-0 down at half time at Goodison and gone on to win. And that was the game we did it.
Wow.
Which
Classic
obviously
Palace.
very Palace, but also that's insane from us. That's not an Everton thing to do.
No.
To actually go and win that game. Like
Frankie Lamps. Do you think Frank Lampard is underrated as a manager overall?
I don't think so. I think he's doing a great job at Coventry
He's
at the moment. Doing really well, and then like there's a good chance he's improved as a manager, which is what happens. Like, good on him. Like, but I think we shouldn't get into revisionism of what he was at Everton because he wasn't great. I think it was just a bit too early for him, to be honest. I think like he was trying to kind of impose a brand of football but you never really understood what it was. And also I think unfortunately when you're in a position where you haven't got the right players, where you're in a relegation battle, you've just got to do what you got to do to win, and that wasn't happening. And it was just like, even when we got the ball, we didn't know what to do with it. It was a really bad season. So after that Palace escape, the season after that was bad. Was bad until we got Dyche in.
He became, when he was at Everton, Lampard became like a bit of a meme at Palace because we played you in the FA Cup that season and we won 4-0. And he was like, if they interviewed him after the game, he was like, we conceded a set piece, then we conceded a fluke goal, then we conceded another set piece, then we conceded another fluke goal. It was like, we beat you 4-0.
Yeah.
I think it's even better than that. I think it's like, if there's one, it's like third goal, okay, great goal, it happens. You're just describing 4 goals.
Yeah. We did score 4 goals against you and you scored none.
Like, you could say one of them is a fluke, but I'm still like, 4 goals.
It was the
and
fluke
we
goal,
didn't score.
The fluke goal was like the 3rd goal, and it was like the 85th minute. We scored. The game was over at that point anyway.
It's like, come on, mate. No, but I think he's clearly like quite a nice guy in terms of also like his press conferences and stuff, and I think that buys you a lot of time because fans really wanted it to work with him. He shows that he gets the club and all of that, and I think fans wanted it to work, but it had got so bad that you needed a Dyche to come in and just
to steady the ship. I feel like his CV outside of Everton, it's actually all right. Lampard, he did quite well at Derby, although you look back at that team and it was like that was a really good team.
It was a good team
because he just brought in like Cole and stuff. He
signed Chelsea's academy.
Called up his mates.
He had like Mason Mount, Harry Wilson, Tamori all playing Championship. It was like, you probably should be getting in the play.
And to be fair, he did well with Chelsea in that first actual spell, because it was when they had the transfer ban.
Steady.
But then what I would say is when he then went back to them after us in that little incident, that was actually really bad.
That was just like, what are we doing here?
But I was surprised to see him like do so well. Now I'm like, oh, you know what, fair. Like he's clearly just actually really improved and has got a team that works for him, and like, fair play to him.
But he's stuck with it. He'll be judged with Rooney and Gerrard, won't he? They're sort of in this weird management judge because of the players they were.
Although
that era.
What I will say about Lampard is, and I think what really worked against him in like our memory of him, is that he banished Decore. They'd like fallen out, and he banished them to like training ground or whatever. And then when Dyche came in and Decore came back into the team, he was like our saviour. Like he scored the actual winning goal against Bournemouth on that last day of the season to keep us up. We went on this like 5-game run at one point of winning, and Decore was central to that in that Dyche team. And it, like, when you've got a player like clearly who is capable, and you're going, why did Lampard not? But again, I know it's different players, it's different setups, it's different managers, but I think
it's a red flag though, isn't
it?
When...
That didn't help how we viewed him, because it was like, you weren't going to play him.
What was your favourite era of Everton that you've like witnessed?
I guess it depends on how like long we can count as an era, because those 3 months under Ancelotti,
that's great. Fine.
They were special. Like it was just like, and obviously because it was COVID, it was a bad time in life. Everyone's struggling, and to just have that like happiness to beat Liverpool away for the first time, and I think it was 20 something years, to just have like a team that was like actually scoring goals that were like good goals as well, and it was, and players that you just loved, and even those games that weren't like our best, they were at least like fun games to watch, and it just felt like we were onto something. Obviously we weren't, but
didn't work.
I was gonna say, what happened? Like, how do you go from?
I think, to be honest, it was papering over a lot of cracks. I think there were a lot, and Ancelotti's spoken about it since leaving, of like he was promised things in terms of spending that then didn't flourish. There were clearly things happening at the time, even midfield wise. It's like we had Alain Decore, Gomez, but it didn't. There were a lot of games where they couldn't actually like hold possession, so they were quite good at like breaking up play, and then like then if Hammers went and did something amazing, great. But then Hammers got injured and Decore got injured, and Decore actually possibly more so than Hammers, because there was like a few years period where whenever Doucouré was injured, we didn't win a game. It just showed how important he was to our team. But yeah, I think it was just, we didn't actually know how to control a game with possession. So it kind of, papered over a lot of the cracks that were already there. And then once we got rid of Hammers, and that started to fall apart, and we replaced him with top quality like Townsend and Demarai Gray, which, fair play, they did what they could for us, but it's like, you can't replace players who have like played Champions League level.
Townsend left Palace on a free and then went to Everton. It's like,
it was like, you can't then base a team off of individual quality, which is kind of what Ancelotti's sort of known for, is he just gets the best out of his individual players, and those like top moments. You can't base a team on that when you don't have
any of those players
or any of those players playing.
Did Ancelotti leave at the end of that season, or did he leave halfway through?
No, he left at the end, and then that's when Benitez came in and brought in Townsend, and Rondon he brought in as well.
So Rondon,
I forgot to say, he got rid of James Rodriguez, Benitez, and he brought in Rondon.
I think we could have done like a 2-hour episode today, just going through Everton's starting 11s over the last 20 years, and it would have been so fun.
Obviously, Salomon Rondon bagged at Selhurst Park. I think that's the season. I think we won the game, but it's like so any like Everton struggle, Palace somehow gave them something in that period of time. But Ancelotti went back to Madrid, didn't he?
That's when it all started.
Yeah.
That's mad to think. Like he left Madrid, then went to Everton, and then went back to Madrid.
Yeah,
must be the.
He went to Napoli. And then to us. So it was almost like he was winding down. And then he did quite well with us. And then it was just at a time
then he went back.
Real Madrid needed someone.
Now he's at Brazil.
Yeah.
That is it's a weird little. But I feel like Everton are in a good place now as a team. It feels like maybe this could be the team to break the trophy drought. What do you think? What do you think the reason is that Everton have never got over the line? Is it just typical Everton kind of vibes?
I think there is some of that. Obviously, like as non-footballers, it's quite hard to truly understand that. But there is something in that, in the sense that even like this Man United team that won the FA Cup, the season before last, like that's a team that shouldn't be winning trophies really, but there is a winning mentality in clubs when you've done it before. So I think there is an element of that, but I also just think, in all honesty, I don't think we've been good enough in a lot of these scenarios. Like the 2009 FA Cup final, like I said, we weren't the better team. Like we were playing a better team than us, and I think if you look at last season and these teams that broke the curse, one that rarely happens. Like realistically, there aren't many trophies in football, and realistically, the same teams win them again and again. It's very hard to actually, break that curse. But in those teams that have broken that curse, they've had one like a stable team, and then at least like one sort of star and like world class player, and like Isak or Eze, who've just been able to just go and like in break those moments, just go and win the game for them. And I think with us, we either had one or the other. So in that 2009 FA Cup final, it was like we had a solid Moyes team, but Fellaini's and the Artetas and the Pinars, it was Louis Saha that scored the goal in that era. It's a solid team, but there's no like if we'd had Rooney for a few more years or something, like one of those players to just really take it to the next level, I think we could have. But then when we did get these sort of almost superstars here and there with James or Lukaku, it was at a time when the rest of our team wasn't particularly solid, other than that one Martinez season. And you can't really rely on just like one season. It's just it's very like unlikely that it's just going to happen in that one season where things line up. You need it for a few consistent seasons at least. So I think it's just been a case of we haven't quite had that like talisman to really do something for us at a time where we've also had a solid team. Because like I said, that Lukaku one, obviously he missed the penalty anyway, so I can't really say like he would have brought us forwards, but it was at a time where that team as a whole, we finished 12th that season. Like we were falling apart as a like we weren't good. So it's just never quite lined up.
I think that's what I was going to ask is, do you think Everton is the most painful club to support in English football? Because if you think like Big Six, you got like United's fall off. We know all about that, but they still win things. They still win an FA Cup. They still compete at some level.
In our lifetime, they've won every trophy available.
And then
them.
I put Everton in a bracket with like Spurs, maybe, and Newcastle in these like club. But Newcastle have got their hands on a trophy.
Yeah.
Spurs have got their hands on a trophy. Even Spurs had won 2008 Carabao Cup,
and they got Champions League football very consistently.
Yeah, and they've had the Champions League. I mean, but we're talking about Everton, who are, I mean, it's just, I'm not gonna lie, it's just painful to listen to. There's so many nearly moments. There's so many.
Also, it's like what's funny is these nearly moments are actually like our more positive ones as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, think of all the Origi last minute goal against us in the derby, things like that, which are just like. You can't actually believe what you're watching, and it's just, and you just know it. You just know it's coming. I think I always put the case forward that we're one of the most painful teams to support.
I think factoring everything in it, but I think it is Everton.
And it always used to annoy me when I'd speak to my like Chelsea supporting friends, Man United supporting friends, and like even Spurs supporting friends and stuff, and be like, no, you don't understand. Like, you actually don't understand. Like you're not doing as well this season, and then it wasn't until last season, obviously Spurs ended up winning a trophy, but before that, obviously they finished 17th. I was speaking to my Spurs fans, friends who support Spurs then, and they were literally like, we don't win. Like how do you do this? And I was like, right? Like, because also what I was saying to them is it's not until you're in a relegation battle that you realise how many games of football you can lose in a season and still stay up. And so you're like, all right, we stayed up, but like nearly every weekend we didn't win a game of football.
Loss,
So you're just like, but yeah, we've just had some like so many comical Everton moments.
Are you almost cursed? I mean, like, you go back to when I was looking into Everton, all of our parents' generation was at Everton, massive football club, and you go mid-80s was like loads of success, FA Cup, league title, cup winners' cup, and then you got obviously sort of the 5-year ban that came in from the Liverpool Juventus game. That meant that you probably halted that success. Then you get that one FA Cup final, which is almost like that carrot that's dangled. You win that, and then it's just nothing. But it's just reliving it all with you is painful.
But what I will
Can't lie.
To try and cheer this up a little bit.
We're sorry for bringing you.
Try and cheer this up a little bit. I think my 18-game run is the perfect like example of this, like writ large, basically, in the sense of, yes, it's horrible, but you don't get a moment like that where you get 3 points against Watford away that feel that good for other clubs. Like, it does mean those smaller wins mean so much more. And I do think, like, having also been in these relegation battles, I appreciate the mid-table run so much more now. Like, I appreciate getting 3 points on a weekend so much more. Like, I actually like value that, whereas I think so many clubs, because you're always chasing that next thing. I think every single fan base, even when you get something, your expectations get raised, and then you're chasing that next thing, and it's like,
definitely,
I just think so many fans don't actually appreciate what the essence of football and supporting a club is, which is going to see your team and seeing them win. That's great. Take those 3 points and take that feeling.
Honestly, it's the essence of our podcast, really.
It is.
And I think it's like it's almost like a way of coping. Like football fans, as a Fulham fan, I can relate all too well. Like, you move the goalposts on what success
this is what I tell myself anyway.
It's not like I'm not looking for the league title. I'm not really looking for Europe, but like, if Iwobi does something cool, I'm buzzing. You know, that's kind of where it goes to.
I mean, I've been there.
Yeah, exactly. So
we spoke about it a bit on the last episode we did. We spoke about Palace last season, like what made us go from like a nearly team to winning something. And you said, like, do you appreciate that you're living in like the glory days now?
Yeah,
Palace
I put you on the
and
spot
I was
with
like,
that,
absolutely, I do. Like, when we lost to Everton, some Palace fans were like raging, saying, the depth, and I'm like, mate, we've just gone 19 games unbeaten and we've won 2 trophies in that time. I'll be fine. I'll 100%. Survive. And like, you're right, some Palace fans now, like, they want more, they want us to go the extra step, and I get it. Like, you want to be, I hate it when people use the term ambitious to describe like a club like Palace or Fulham or Everton. A lot of the time they're like, Newcastle and Villa are showing ambition. I'm like, they've just got more money than we have. Ambition. No team wants to be 15th every season.
Of course.
But like, you're right. When some people, Palace fans, are like, "Oh, you know, it was way more fun when we were in the relegation battles." I'm like, no,
what are you talking about? Yeah,
it's so easy to say that when you stay up.
But do you know what argument of that I do actually believe is when fans of like sort of more yo-yo clubs, which no offense to you guys, you've both been there, say I liked it more in the Championship, and you can kind of understand that because that goes back to what I was saying of your senior team playing win. Like
100%. When I was a season ticket holder for years and years, I preferred the Championship seasons.
Because
to go to the games. Because we went and won like 23 games unbeaten or something. So I was almost in your shoes in terms of like that. I would just go and see us win.
Catch up.
Yeah, well, one day, hopefully.
No, I agree. I always say that when people say they prefer the Championship, they're just coping if they're doing bad in the Premier League. But Palace fans say that. I'm like, well, our last season in the Championship, we had Zaha on one wing, Balassi on the other, Glenn Murray up front. We were scoring like 4 goals every home game. It was unreal.
No, we won.
Not every season like that.
It's not about preferring it. It's just like, it's almost like a nice break. So as a yo-yo club in Fulham, it's a nice. You just go down there and we won 7-0. I saw us win 7-0 3 times in one season. It was just unbelievable. Like, it was just so much fun. But I think ultimately you always want to be in the top division.
Of course,
which you always have been. Can't relate.
And to be fair, I would get that from other fans as well, and like Sunderland fans and stuff. When I was going, like, I was like, this is the worst team to support, like this, and everyone would be like, you haven't even been relegated, like shut up. And I'm like, you know what, fair.
Okay. Sunderland down in League One.
I think Everton at home was the last Palace game that I watched us lose in person, which was in February.
Wow.
Isn't that mad? I think I've watched 17 games in person at Palace and we've not lost any of them.
Always finds a way to make it about Crystal Palace.
It was nice.
That's like the opposite run of what I
had. Exactly. I'm feeling so blessed. Although I did go, I think I went 4 years without seeing us win away from home, which was bad. Like I had some brutal ones.
Okay, can I tell you my most brutal one in that run?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I don't know why I decided to go to Millwall away.
I think I know the game you're talking about.
I don't know what possessed me to do that. I think I got too big for my boots. And I was like, I've been going to away games. This is fine. And I got there and I was like, oh no, this is different. This is definitely different. And like my cousin looked up like, oh, away pubs, and it was like, there are no away pubs. Get to the grounds, and it was like, oh, okay, cool. Got to the ground. It was just like a miserable day. It was just like raining. We were 2-1 up with I think 10 minutes to go, maybe 15 minutes to go, and we lost 3-2, and it was just horrible. Like, obviously they have a slight pitch invasion. There's like riot police on the pitch with like dogs. There'd been like racist chanting. I was there and I was like, what am I doing? Like,
I want to go home.
Why am I putting myself through that? And you talk about that feeling of you just know what's going to happen, like when we scored against you. That was one of those. It was actually when we had Marco Silva as our manager at the time, and we were so bad at defending set pieces at that time. Like, we just kept conceding to set pieces. And I remember, like, they just got a free kick and everyone just looked at each other and was like,
it's coming.
Yeah. And then it happened. And then they got another set piece and it was like, it's coming. And
Two
it was
set
like,
pieces.
And it was like in January, I think. It was just the most miserable day I've ever experienced.
I remember that really clearly, that FA Cup weekend. I was at uni at the time and I lived with a Millwall fan at the time, and they went on like a bit of a run in the Cup that year. I think they beat another Prem team at home, maybe came from behind again. And I remember that game and I was just like...
I remember even that, it was like one of their goals was a handball, but they were only using VAR in certain stadiums. So it didn't make it to the den. And they were showing it on the screen. And everyone was like, it's a handball!
I mean, going like back to Cup stuff with Everton, how do you feel about this season? Because there was a lot of bad press about Moyes. Didn't he rest a lot of players against Wolves and you guys were fuming? I don't know how you feel. But...
Yeah, I think it is annoying, and I think especially like... Moyes, out of anyone knows what like a trophy for us would mean, and realistically, FA Cup's harder to do than the League Cup, and it was. I just think at the moment we're not a fully settled team. I think we're a team that we're kind of on the knife edge of being good and being bad, and I think a lot of our games will go the way that Palace game went, but also the way that West Ham game went, and also the game. What ones did we lose? Like the Leeds game we lost, where it's like a lot of these games, sometimes we're bad in them. Sometimes we have moments of being good, but we're in them. and we could like any of those results could have happened. Like for Palace, we could have lost, we could have drawn, we could have won. And that's kind of been the same with a lot of our games this season, because we've got a few players who can do something, but you've got to remember this is a squad who, by and large, it's the same squad that's been in a relegation battle for the last 4 years. We haven't brought in that many new players. So yeah, I think like it was disappointing because obviously it's like Wolves, we'd already beaten them away in the league. They were going for a bad time. It just felt like, actually just start your best 11. Just do it. But I also see why not. And equally, you know, if we'd gotten an injury in that, then someone would have been like, should have rested your players. It's
interesting that like David Moyes is very much cut from the same cloth, I think, as Roy Hodgson, who obviously managed both Fulham and Palace. And like there'd be points where, you know, we'd be going deep in the cups, playing our B team, then we'd be in the quarterfinal, we'd carry on playing a second string team, and we'd be safe in the league. And you'd just be like, why are we not playing the first team? It makes no sense. And one thing that Glasner has done since he's come in is we just go full strength basically in every single game, and like often to our own detriment because the players are just exhausted. What happened at the end of the Everton game, like against Kiev in that week when we were 2-0 up, we should have just taken everyone off, and we didn't. And we always, but like we played Millwall at home in the cup, and we basically had like a full strength 11 out, and it's like, because he says, I mean, we're not going to win all 4 trophies, but he said like, you can win, like we can win any trophy. You've got to go for every single one, and like there's no point as an Everton fan not attacking one.
The one sub as well. I do get you need to. Because for years we haven't really had a very good second goalkeeper. We had Begovic for a bit, and he could do a job when he came in, but we generally haven't. And you do think if Pickford got injured, like, how are we going to fare? So I get taking Pickford out to now that we've actually got a decent backup to be like, okay, give him a run. But he wasn't very good, Travis. And I just think when you have actually got like a world-class goalkeeper like Pickford, just play him. Just play him unless you really can't.
That's what
we spoke about Pickford a few times on this pod.
We're big Jordan Pickford
fans.
We're
big Pickford fans. Big Pickford fans.
I'm glad.
We did our England starting 11s last episode. We both we both joked about Dean Henderson.
We
both made a joke about Dean Henderson starting. That's how pro Pickford we are.
We're very pro Pickford.
I think on the subject of England, I know I said already that your favourite Nearly team was the Everton 2009 FA Cup team, but you mentioned Southgate's England as another favourite Nearly team. Again, we're both Southgate guys. That's like a red flag, green flag, I think, in the football world.
So.
If you hate Gareth Southgate.
Well, do you know what it is? I think it is also supporting teams like ours, because I think we do understand that thing of like where we were before, where we are now.
Exactly.
And it's a bit like how different clubs fans view like Arteta at Arsenal. I think if you support like a team like ours, we're like, he's done such a good job for you guys. But then I can also see where they're going, but we're not winning trophies. We need to win trophies. And I think with Southgate, it's a similar thing, because, and also maybe it's an age thing as well. Like, I remember England being terrible. We were so bad. Embarrassingly bad, to the point I didn't even really ever say I supported England. Well, there were other reasons for that as well, but I won't go into. But if they lost, I'd just be a bit like, there you go. And like that Southgate team was a team that you actually could rally around, and they just had like, and he let them have their personalities, he let them speak openly, and it just like, it drew you to them. And that 2018 and then the 2021, because I think we just weren't expecting it, it was just like amazing.
Whereas was so
unbelievable.
What I think's now happened is almost Southgate's a victim of his own success, in that like the expectations got raised so much that we just expect England to be in sort of semi-finals and finals, that I think even if that Euro 2024 run, which was terrible to be fair, like don't get me wrong, like, Southgate, his tactics were awful in that tournament, but if we'd had that run in like 2021 or 2018, I think as a fan base, like we'd all have loved it. We would have appreciated it, because it was like, oh my god, we're in a final. But obviously it got to the point where it was like, we're expecting more from this team now, and this needs to be a good team who actually plays well. But
we've been so spoiled as England fans. Like, it's a joke. We basically did a whole episode about how we just can't understand how people criticise Southgate. Like, people were like, oh yeah, like we should be beating these teams in tournaments. They're only low ranked teams. It was like,
but
we used to not do that.
Iceland.
Like, I've watched us lose to Iceland.
we didn't qualify for the Euro.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like with 2008, like that squad was unbelievable. You had like prime like Rooney, Gerrard, Lampard, and we didn't even qualify for the Euros.
It's crazy.
Like,
I think especially being like fans of we are. I always just said like football's a feeling. Like we play football to score a goal and get that feeling. You watch football to celebrate with you, and like. You think to Southgate's era, it's just positive. We didn't win it, but I always say as well, you can't. Spain are good, like you know what I mean. Other teams are very good, and you 100%. Might fall short, but like you have all of that journey and experience of getting there. And I can't stand football fans that support England who just hate on it the entire way through, and then we lose in the final, and they're like, see.
Yeah,
see, we're crap.
We
lost 2-1 in the final. It's pretty close. Just, if you're not enjoying the Netherlands game, what are you doing?
Yeah. I will say that Italy one is the one that I think hits hardest because it's like it just was. When it gets to penalties, it's like it's just anything can happen, and like to be
cruel.
And also we were just good that tournament as well.
Yeah,
like,
we were better than Italy. I think
we were a good team. But you talk about being spoiled. I'm like, because I've follow a lot of women's football as well, and in the last 4 years, every single team has gotten to a final. And I'm like, I never imagined that as a kid growing up watching either England or men, like women or men. It's like I can't complain. Really.
Yeah, exactly. And you, when you said about the 2009 FA Cup final, as like you lose that game against Chelsea, and you're just like, fair enough. I had that when we lost to Spain, I think, last year. I was like, they were better than us all tournament. They were better than us in that game. I was like, we didn't deserve. It didn't hit the same way that the Italy game did. We've already spoken about that on the podcast. It's like terrible night after
worst football memory of one of them.
You were stood at a bus stop in the pouring rain in the middle of nowhere.
I remember that whole journey home. It was just it was terrible.
I got so pissed that I can't remember the game. So I'm secretly quite glad we didn't win, because if we had won that and I couldn't remember, I would honestly never have forgiven myself. But I cried all the way home on a bus in Peckham. Oh mate, it was bleak.
I to that point as well, I would say the England Women World Cup final loss to Spain. At the time, Spain weren't viewed as like the best team in the world. Like England were viewed as the favourites, and now in hindsight, they went on to actually be a better team than us. So now I look back and go, okay, that's fine. That we were, and we didn't show up that game. But like at the time, it felt like, why aren't we showing up? Like, that was a gutting day, because also then because it was in Australia and I was in the UK, so it started at like 11 or something. By the time that finished, and I was working it as well, by the time that finished, Everton were playing Villa and we lost 4-0, and then I had to go rush back home and then do a podcast about the final, and I was just like, it got to 5 o'clock. I hadn't eaten. I'd had 3 beers, and I was just like, this is just the most depressing day ever.
They've given us some good times though, the England women's.
They've given me my best, the only trophies I've ever seen. So I can't complain.
I went to the final in 2022 at Wembley against Germany, which was that was probably obviously apart from Palace FA Cup, but in terms of being somewhere and being I'm witnessing something really, really historic. It was actually, it was insane that it's quite funny. So my girlfriend's sister is a massive football fan, and she got tickets for the final before the tournament started. And at that point, they were so cheap. They cost £15.
Yeah.
And she asked everyone in my girlfriend's family, who wants to go to the final with me? This was long before England had got there. No one wanted to go, and I was like, I'll go. I'll do it.
Yeah.
England obviously get to the final to get Germany, and all of a sudden her whole family oh, have you still got that ticket? I'm actually, I committed to it ages ago, so I'm going. You're not going.
Yeah. I had that, and then I was just in Switzerland and saw the final as well. So
sick.
To be fair, I've seen 2 international trophies.
You take that.
I'm pretty happy.
It was very the Euros this year were actually kind of reminiscent of Southgate's last Euros, except we just got over the line.
Yeah. even the World Cup was like that as well for us. It was I just think England have become all our different age groups, genders have become a team that we're sort of just winners in that sense. Obviously we haven't won the trophies, but we're just now a team that clearly what they've done with St George's Park and the infrastructure has just massively improved. So they must be doing something right. All our younger age groups are getting to good stages of all their respective cups. It's just something's transformed, where we just have this sort of don't say die attitude, where other than in the finals. But
Yeah.
Just
but losing on
last-
pens, it can happen.
happens.
Yeah, of course.
I am really sad that Southgate wasn't the one to get us over the line, because I think we've got. I'm not as invested in Tuchel as I was in Southgate, but I liked Southgate's England, as you said, for like not just on the pitch, like off the pitch. It was such a nice thing to get behind. But I think if and when we do win something, which I think will happen soon, with, like I said, the direction everything's going, it is just a bit sad that Southgate won't be the one to reap the rewards. But I do think he'll also get a lot of the credit, because he did so much behind the scenes for England even before he became
and
manager.
I think like wherever it goes, whether we like England as a team like become worse, that will help. Like his reputation, I think everyone go, oh, actually, Southgate. And also, if we go on to win something, I think everyone will be like, actually, this wouldn't have happened without Southgate. So I think over time his reputation will be hopefully given the credit it deserves.
Yeah, I hope so.
Great. I've mentioned on the pod. They should give me some promo. The book Dear England. Have you read the book?
I went to the play.
Yeah, the play is great. The book is really good. Like I was glued to it. It's really interesting. It goes into like a lot more detail about not just Southgate, but like the whole vision about how Southgate didn't even was like really anti the job.
Who's it written by?
Oh, now you're testing me. I don't know. I don't know who it's written, but I think it's by two people.
I went to like a sort of talk that he was on, and he was talking about when he got offered the job, and he essentially was very open and honest and said, I got chosen because they tried everything.
Yeah.
He was like, they tried the Allardyce style. He didn't actually say these names, obviously, but you could tell what he was insinuating. They tried the Allardyce style. They tried the Capello style. Like they'd tried everything they thought, and then just thought, you know what, he's doing all right. Let's build from there and see where it goes.
Yeah.
And he was very aware of that, but obviously it worked out very well.
Do you think we'll win the World Cup next year?
No.
Damn it! Not what I wanted to hear.
I mean, look, you never know. World Cups are like all knockout tournaments. It's like you never really know. But I just think we still haven't quite clicked into gear yet.
No.
I think our midfield, we're not 100% sure on what that balance actually is, especially with like Rice and then Bellingham, and kind of. I think we're back in that slight position of like we've got a lot of good players, and do you either like sacrifice the system or do you sacrifice the player? I'm not sure we've figured that out yet, but we might figure that out by the time.
I hope so. As long as Adam Wharton's in the team, mate, that is all I care about. I will not be supporting England if he's not in the team. Thank you so much for coming on. That was really good.
Yeah, really
good chat. I can't believe it's taken us this long to talk about Everton.
Yeah,
Everton are like the epitome.
They are
exactly.
the best. They are the best Nearlyman team. I'm sorry, they are.
Have you got anything you want to plug? Your own socials or anything like that?
Just at Marva MSK on most socials, at Marva Kreel on Twitter, and then just keep an eye on my Premier League interviews.
Nice. We definitely will.
We will.
Friend of the pod now.
Yes.
Thank you very much for listening. 5 stars on Spotify. Subscribe, YouTube. Follow the socials. All that good stuff. Yeah. And we'll catch you next week. Thank you very much.
See you in the next one.